Representative Loretta Sanchez just asked Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent a simple question. Do you believe that all Americans should follow our tax laws? Bessent said yes. Do you believe that people who lie on their tax returns should be audited? Yes. Do you believe that people who break our tax laws should be held accountable? Yes. 3 questions. 3 yeses.
Do you believe that people who lie on their tax returns should be audited?
Yes.
Okay, do you think that people who break our laws should be held accountable, our tax laws?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Very simple.
Then Sanchez asked the question that Bessent could not answer. Why are you allowing President Trump to have complete immunity from being audited? Bessent said he could not comment because of ongoing litigation. Sanchez asked him to name the ongoing case. He could not. She asked if he knew who counts as Trump's family for the purposes of this immunity. He told her to call the Justice Department. She called him out. He is the Treasury Secretary. He oversees the IRS. He should know.
Do you know the answer to that question, Mr. Secretary?
Again, I imagine you have the Justice Department phone number. I would suggest you call them.
I'm not the one that runs the Department of the Treasury or that oversees what is happening with this immunity has been granted.
I'm not the one either.
Sanchez then laid out the economic damage. Inflation rising faster than hourly wages. Gas prices at an all-time high because of the war in Iran. Groceries up 3.2%. Prices on most goods up because of Trump's tariffs. She called this the most corrupt Treasury Department in the nation's history.
I think it's pretty safe to say that this is probably the most corrupt Treasury Department in our nation's history.
Bessent's response was not a defense. It was an attack. He called her slanderous. He said she was long on hot air. He did not answer the question about Trump's audit immunity, because there is no good answer. The truth is that the administration has given Trump and his family blanket immunity from tax audits. That is corrupt. That is unprecedented. That is indefensible. So Bessent attacks the messenger.
So once again, I'm going to ask, why are you allowing President Trump and his family to have complete immunity from being audited?
Sanchez did not get the answers she wanted. She did not get Bessent to admit that the immunity is wrong. She did not get an apology, but she did something important. She exposed the pattern. The Treasury Secretary will not answer basic questions about Trump's immunity. He will not say who is covered. He will not say why it exists. He will not say how it was created. He hides behind litigation that does not exist. He hides behind the Department of Justice. He hides behind protocol. But he is the Secretary of the Treasury. He is responsible for the IRS. He cannot hide behind others. He must answer for himself. And he did not. Let's watch.
Mr. Secretary, do you believe that all Americans should follow our tax laws?
Yes, Congressman.
Yes, good. So do I. And do you believe that for those Americans who break our tax laws, they should be audited or held accountable?
Well, I think there are 2 things there. An audit is not a result of breaking the law.
Yes or no? Simple question.
Well, no, it's not a simple question. It's
okay,
a 2-part
then
question.
let me break it into 2. Do you think they should?
If you're asking me,
please don't
should every
interrupt
taxpayer
me.
be audited?
Please answer that. I came here for answers. If you came here to waste time, I'm going to try to make sure you don't do that. Do you believe that people who lie on their tax returns should be audited?
Yes.
Okay, do you think that people who break our laws should be held accountable, our tax laws?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Very simple. Not a hard question.
No.
I'm glad we agree. So why is it that you are allowing President Trump to have complete immunity from being audited?
Again, I'm going to have to refer you to my previous statement. And
what was your previous statement, sir?
That I am unable to comment on any of the ongoing litigation.
Okay, can you name the ongoing case concerning President Trump's immunity from audit?
Sorry?
Can you name?
There are 3 cases.
Can you name them, please?
That are out there now, and I will be happy to get back to you on those, because again, I am not a lawyer.
Okay.
We are represented by the DOJ.
Great. You said that you can't because there's ongoing litigation. You'll get me the name of the ongoing litigation, because the only ongoing litigation that I know of is surrounding the $1.8 million slush fund, which has already been suspended. The fact is that the judge's ruling in the litigation that references that slush fund only addresses the anti-weaponization fund. It doesn't even address Trump's immunity from audit. So I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record the judge's order in the Floyd versus Department of Justice case.
Without objection.
Thank you. Now, Secretary, you said you're not an attorney. Is that correct?
Mercifully.
Okay. Well, I am, and I'm actually proud to be an attorney and know the laws, and I know how to read a judicial ruling. Furthermore, I know that since 1962, the Supreme Court has held that ongoing litigation does not prevent someone from testifying in a congressional hearing. So once again, I'm going to ask, why are you allowing President Trump and his family to have complete immunity from being audited?
Again, since you're a lawyer, you will understand that the U.S. Treasury and the IRS are represented by the Justice Department and the Acting Attorney General.
Yes, but I just mentioned a Supreme Court case that doesn't bar you from testifying. It's pretty clear to me, though, however, that you're not interested in answering questions. You're interested in arguing. Let me ask you this question. If President Biden amended a prior tax return and claimed that he was owed $1 billion, do you think that that would be audited, or should it be audited?
I'm not going to talk about any
because you're not really here to answer questions. I don't understand why you wouldn't audit that, and I don't understand why you wouldn't do the same for President Trump. So the ruling, by the Justice Department,
do you have specific knowledge of an audit of President Trump?
Excuse me. It's my time. You're not here to ask me questions. I'm here to ask you questions, and hopefully you're here to try to answer some of them. I'm curious to know who counts as Trump's family for the purposes of this immunity. Is it his children, his in-laws, his grandchildren, his second or third cousin, his great-great-grandchildren? Do you know the answer to that question, Mr. Secretary?
Again, I imagine you have the Justice Department phone number. I would suggest you call them.
I'm not the one that runs the Department of the Treasury or that oversees what is happening with this immunity has been granted.
I'm not the one either. We follow the instructions of our lawyers, and we obey the law,
Representative. I hope that you're proud of your performance today, Mr. Secretary, because
I hope you get some social media
clips. I think it's pretty
clips.
safe to say that this is probably the most corrupt Treasury Department in our nation's history. And while you dance around questions to protect Trump, Americans are suffering in Trump's spiraling economy. Inflation is now rising faster than average hourly wages. Gas prices are at an all-time high with the war in Iran. The cost of groceries has risen 3.2% over the past years, and prices on most goods have gone up because of Trump's tariffs. So I don't see how you could call that anything other than a failure of the most corrupt Treasury Department in history.
Your time has expired, Ms. Sanchez.
Thank you. My time has expired.
Secretary, I would love for you to respond to the accusations at your department, because I think you are due the opportunity for that.
The Congresswoman is slanderous. She has nothing but the unsubstantiated opinions, and I will not stand for that. There is nothing corrupt. We move at the highest levels, and just because she cannot get the answer she wants, if she would like to give me facts, she seems long on facts, short on facts, long on hot air, and I will not stand for that. Yeah, that's great.
This hearing is a masterclass in how to watch a witness refuse to answer questions and a member of Congress refuse to let him get away with it. Representative Loretta Sanchez came with a strategy. She asked 3 simple yes or no questions. Do you believe all Americans should follow tax laws? Yes. Should people who lie on tax returns be audited? Yes. Should people who break tax laws be held accountable? Yes. 3 yeses. Then she asked the question that Bessent could not answer. Why are you allowing President Trump to have complete immunity from being audited? That is the moment. That is the trap. Sanchez got Bessent to agree to the principles. Everyone should follow the law. Everyone should be audited if they lie. Everyone should be held accountable if they break the law. Then she asked why the president is exempt. Bessent had no answer. He could not say that Trump is not exempt. He could not say that Trump is being audited. He could not say that Trump is being held accountable. He could only dodge. Bessent's first defense was ongoing litigation. He said he could not comment. Sanchez asked him to name the ongoing case. He could not. He said he would get back to her. He said he was not a lawyer. He said the Treasury and IRS are represented by the Justice Department. He did not name a single case, because there is no ongoing litigation that prevents him from answering. The only litigation Sanchez knows about is the one surrounding the $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund, which has already been suspended. That case does not address Trump's audit immunity. Bessent is hiding behind a legal excuse that does not exist. He is using the Department of Justice as a shield. He is pretending that he cannot answer questions because of a lawsuit that has nothing to do with the questions being asked. That is not a defense. That is a deception. Sanchez then used her legal training. She cited the Supreme Court. Since 1962, the court has held that ongoing litigation does not prevent someone from testifying in a congressional hearing. Bessent's excuse is not just weak, it is legally false. Sanchez called him out. It's pretty clear to me that you're not interested in answering questions. You're interested in arguing. That is the key moment. Sanchez is not buying Bessent's excuses. She is not letting him hide behind legal technicalities. She is not letting him change the subject. She is holding him accountable. She is demanding answers, and she is making it clear that his refusal to answer is not a legal necessity. It is a choice. Then Sanchez asked the hypothetical. If President Biden amended a prior tax return and claimed he was owed $1 billion, should that be audited? Bessent would not answer, because the answer is yes. And if the answer is yes for Biden, it should be yes for Trump. But Bessent cannot say that. So he says nothing. He is not willing to apply the same standard to Trump that he would apply to Biden. He is not willing to say that Trump should be audited. He is not willing to say that Trump should be held accountable. He is protecting the president, and Sanchez called him out on it. She said, I don't understand why you wouldn't audit that, and I don't understand why you wouldn't do the same for President Trump. That is the question. Why does Trump get special treatment? Bessent cannot answer, because there is no good answer. Sanchez then asked who counts as Trump's family for the purposes of this immunity. Children? In-laws? Grandchildren? Second cousins? Great-great-grandchildren? That is a devastating question. The immunity is so broad that it could cover anyone remotely connected to Trump. But Bessent does not know, or he will not say. He told her to call the Justice Department. He is the Treasury Secretary. He oversees the IRS. He should know. He does know. He will not say. He is hiding behind the Department of Justice. He is pretending that he has no role in this, but he is the head of the Treasury Department. The IRS is a bureau of the Treasury Department. The Secretary of the Treasury is responsible for the IRS. He cannot claim ignorance. He cannot claim that this is someone else's problem. He is responsible, and he is refusing to answer. Sanchez's closing statement was devastating. She called this the most corrupt Treasury Department in the nation's history. She laid out the economic evidence. Inflation rising faster than hourly wages. Gas prices at an all-time high because of the war in Iran. Groceries up 3.2%. Prices on most goods up because of Trump's tariffs. She said that while Bessent dances around questions to protect Trump, Americans are suffering. She did not raise her voice. She did not interrupt. She stated facts. The facts are clear. The economy is not working for working families. The administration is not helping them. The administration is protecting the president. The administration is giving him immunity from accountability, and the Treasury Secretary is complicit. Bessent's response was not a defense. It was an attack. He called her slanderous. He said she had unsubstantiated opinions. He said she was short on facts, long on hot air. He did not answer a single question about Trump's audit immunity. Because he cannot. There is no good answer. The truth is that the administration has given Trump and his family blanket immunity from tax audits. That is corrupt. That is unprecedented. That is indefensible. So Bessent attacks the messenger. He tries to make Sanchez look unreasonable. He tries to make it seem like she is making wild accusations. But she is not making wild accusations. She is asking questions. She is citing facts. She is reading the law. She is holding him accountable. And he cannot defend himself. The pattern is clear. When a Republican official cannot defend the administration's actions, they do one of three things. They hide behind legal technicalities that do not exist. They attack the questioner. They change the subject. Bessent did all three. He claimed ongoing litigation. He called Sanchez slanderous. He told her to call the Justice Department. He did not answer. He did not defend the immunity. He did not explain why Trump is exempt. He did not say who is covered. He did not say how the immunity was created. He did not say why it is legal. He said nothing. That is not a defense. That is a confession. The underlying issue is not about procedure. It is about accountability. The IRS audits millions of Americans every year. It audits teachers and truck drivers and small business owners. It audits people who make mistakes on their returns and people who deliberately cheat. It does not give anyone blanket immunity, except Donald Trump. The Treasury Secretary cannot explain why. Because there is no explanation. The only explanation is corruption. The administration is protecting the president from the consequences of his own tax filings. That is not how the rule of law works. That is how autocracies work. Sanchez did not get an answer, but she made sure the question was asked. She made sure that everyone watching knows that the Treasury Secretary is protecting the president. She made sure that everyone watching knows that the administration is giving Trump special treatment. She made sure that everyone watching knows that the system is rigged. And that is the beginning of accountability.